Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this morning session to get you ready for your examinations. I just want to, or just please note that the session will be recorded and the recording will be made available on the My Exams guide, but we will show you later on. So if there's any areas that you perhaps want to just revise or just have a look at it again, the recording will be made available. Please also use the chat to ask any questions. We have quite a few academics in here and people from the examinations department that's already here to assist you. So please make use of the chat. And then later on, we will just have a look at some of the frequently asked questions that was in the chat. So just an introduction. So my name is Richard Wright. I'm from the ADOVH, the Academic Development Open Virtual Hub, and we generally run the sessions with students on how to prepare you for my modules and my exams. So in this session today, we're going to focus specifically on your supplementary examinations. So that's going to start next week. And just to also get you familiar, what is the procedure, what is the proctoring tool that will be used, and how do you actually set up this proctoring tool? And also, why is it so necessary that we actually use this proctoring tool with just the introduction on the academic integrity? So without further ado, please post your questions. We will have a look at them as we go through the sessions. As you can see, we will be covering the IRIS tool a bit later, so please keep your questions for IRIS specifically for that session. The first thing, let's have a look at what is the procedure that you will follow on the day of the exam to actually access your question papers. So if you've written online exams before on the My Exams portal, please note you will not be using the My Exams portal. You will only be using or get all your information from the My UNISA portal. So what you first need to do is you log into My UNISA, click on My Modules, you select the course that's been created for the supplementary exam, and from there you download your question papers. So once you start download the question papers, the IRIS proctoring will start. So the IRIS proctoring will run the full duration while you are writing your examinations. So you will be doing this on a notepad. Once you completed writing on the notepad, you're answering all the questions, you will then scan in your script to a PDF file and then go to My Admin. So please note you're not going to upload it on My Modules. You're going to upload it under My Admin, Assessment Admin, and Assignment Submissions. So just as a summary, so remember, you first can download your paper. The IRIS will start. You will write on a notepad, for instance. Once you're done, you scan and upload your question paper to My Admin, and then you stop IRIS. So let's just quickly have a look at what this procedure will be like. So first you go to My UNISA. You will sign in with your normal student number and password. You will go to My Modules. Wait for it quickly to load. I'll do this once more.
Sorry to interrupt, Richard. Good
Yes.
morning. Is it not my exam?
No, so this is for the supplementary. So this will be on my modules.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Sheila.
Thank you.
Okay, so once you log into my modules, from the dropdown, there will be a course specifically for the supplementary exams. And from there, you will then actually download the files. So remember, it won't be under additional resources. It will just be a file within a folder that you need to download the question paper that you will be doing. So remember, there will be 2 question papers per day, one for the morning session and one for the afternoon session. Just note as well, sometimes on these pages, everything might not display over here. Just remember this little drop down here at the bottom that you need to click to expand to show any additional files and resources that is available. So once you're done, so that means you download your paper, Iris will start working in the background. You start, any prompts that it gives you. You write your question paper, say on a notepad. Afterwards, you use your mobile phone or scanner to scan in the paper, and then you go sign into My Admin. So then under Assessment Admin, you just select Assignment Submission, log in again with your username and password. Just quickly, assignment submission. That will be your student number, my user password, and then you will have an upload option for the question paper. So if we just go back to have a look, remember, first you download your question paper from my UNISA, my modules. The iris invigilation will start. You write it on a notepad, you scan into a PDF document, and then you upload to my admin under assessment submissions, and then you stop iris from there. So as you might know, a lot of you might not have scanners ready available. So one app that I can also really guide you to is OneDrive for your mobile device. So you can sign in with your MyUnisa MyLife email address and password, and then there's a little scanning, almost like a little camera shutter that you can use to scan in files, and it will actually combine the files for you as well to a single PDF document. What's actually nice about the app as well, it cleans up, so it's really makes everything very legible, so you do know you're submitting a good quality. Just note this is available for iOS and Android, and as I mentioned, you can sign in with your MyLife email account. And remember, once the file is scanned in and uploaded to your MyLife email account, you can actually go to office.com and also sign in with your MyLife email account to get the files from there. But you can submit the file directly from your mobile device as well. Then a lot of times, perhaps what happens is, say you scan in, you've got multiple images, or the file is too big, or you have got multiple PDF documents that you want to combine. One website that I can recommend is I Love PDF. And this website actually is a quick way just to, merge PDF documents or split it, or say you're trying to upload but the file is too big, you can compress the PDF. Just remember, if you do compress a PDF document, to always make sure that everything is still legible. Yeah, just see there's a question paper. So remember, you will just use your webcam. At the beginning, you will do a scan of your environment. So it doesn't necessarily have the question paper needs to be visible the whole time. You just at the beginning scan your environment, and then you just have your camera still switched on. But Lazarus will cover that when he covers Iris. So I just also want to remind you to read the guides. So remember, these guides will be sent to you. Go through it very thoroughly. There is a few things to note in these guides, especially, the dates and times. So remember, not every day is exactly the same, especially, for instance, on a Friday when the second paper will start a bit later. And remember, you get half an hour to read and then 2.5 an hour to complete the question paper. So it will give you a duration of about 3 hours, and then afterwards you get half an hour to submit your scripts. So please make sure you've got access to these guides that are sent out to you, and that you've got access or that you've gone through it, and make sure where is the contact information if you run into trouble, what is the alternative links if you perhaps have trouble uploading to MyUnisa, where is the alternative links where you can upload. So please make sure that you really go through this very thoroughly before your examination. So before we dive into Iris and how to set it up and how to use Iris during exam for your exams, I'm just going to hand over to David that will play a video on academic integrity for us, just to indicate why is it so important that we are using these tools. Thanks, David.
Dear students, as you begin your preparation for your online exams, I want to talk to you about academic integrity and the online assessment process and why it is so important for us to think about academic integrity. At university, behaving with academic integrity is founded in certain personal values. If you value honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, courage, then you have the foundations to become a scholar and future employee or employer who behaves with integrity. Practicing honesty means not only being honest with others, but with yourself. Those who are honest will promote the value of trust by preparing work that is thoughtful and original. Showcase your academic integrity by being fair. Acknowledge the work of others by appropriately referencing, and remember that your actions can have an impact on your fellow students. In being fair, you need to show respect for yourself and for others. Respect for self means tackling challenges without compromising your own values. Respect for others means valuing their diversity of opinions and their needs and goals. Take responsibility in your university life by standing, resisting negative peer pressure, and serving as a positive example, which means you will need to have courage to follow through, holding yourself and others accountable. So, what happens if a fellow student acts in a dishonest manner? At an individual level, students that act in a dishonest way in their studies also act dishonestly in their workplaces. So if you are caught cheating at university, it could have serious consequences, not only for yourself, but for others as well. What might seem like a small action can have a domino effect. Students that cheat give the university that they come from and the qualification that they come away with a bad reputation. Employers may choose not to hire graduates from that university. Quality assurance bodies such as the Council of Higher Education and professional associations such as the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants may decide that the degrees from that university are not of an acceptable quality and decide to de-accredit the degrees. The result, even students that do not cheat during their studies are in danger of having their degrees devalued because the university as a whole is devalued. Now this is all well and good, but I haven't given you any examples of what academic dishonesty is so that you can take action to protect your degree. There are many forms academic dishonesty can take. Let's start with contract cheating or ghostwriting. Some dishonest people are going to attempt to sell you the answers for exams. This is called contract cheating or ghostwriting. These people or services will get the exam paper through illegal means and dishonest people. They attempt to work out the answers and then offer these answers for sale. These people may even give students tips to try and fool their lecturers, such as changing the order of answers or making deliberate mistakes. But what also happens is sellers will give the same answers to more than one student. The result? There are always a few students who don't make any changes, and from these, the rest are found out. If you encounter this situation, report it to your lecturer or even anonymously to the whistleblower hotline. What also has started happening is that these sellers, these ghostwriters, come back and blackmail students afterwards. So you are not only in danger from the university finding out, but also from somebody blackmailing you throughout the rest of your career. Linked to contract cheating is the act of buying or selling of an assessment. For ghostwriters to come up with the answers to exam papers, they first need to get access to these papers. It is a serious offence to buy or sell question papers, and the university will take serious actions against any person accused of this. Another form of contract cheating is to ask or pay another person to write an exam on your behalf in real time. That person will attempt to present themselves online with your credentials. However, with UNISA's use of IRIS, the proctoring software, we can determine if multiple assessments are being written from the same location and by one person through looking at the webcam photos. Students often form study groups that are a wonderful source for both a study and emotional support. However, some form groups where they help each other cheat, even without meaning to. Sitting together and working together as a group to answer questions is not allowed during the exams. The best way to avoid sharing answers is to make very clear rules amongst your study group. Act with trust and honesty, even when your lecturers can't see you. Plagiarism is when you use someone else's ideas without acknowledging them. This includes any source of information that you may use in your exam answers, words, images, music. If it doesn't come from your own head, it must be cited and referenced. All sources must be acknowledged at the end of your work as a list of sources consulted or bibliography, and in your text as an in-text citation. Our last example refers to the upload time at UNISA. This time is not part of your writing time. When your writing time is finished, you need to stop and either save or upload your file as a PDF, or scan a handwritten answer into a PDF and then submit. Make sure the PDFs are accessible, that means having no restrictions on it, and readable. You can test this before the exams by saving a Word document as a PDF or practicing scanning and making sure that you know how to do this. The upload time is used by the university to help resolve any upload issues. If you choose to ignore this rule and continue to write, only to experience a real issue in the dying minutes, be aware that the university will not, under any circumstances, accept your script outside of this upload time. So what does the university do when it becomes aware of transgressions? And this includes the transgression of not using the prescribed proctoring software. There is a formal process that is followed when lecturers identify cases of plagiarism. This includes the lecturers gathering all the evidence needed and marks being withheld while the investigation takes place. Students are issued a warning letter and can decide to accept or contest the charges. If students contest the charge, a formal hearing is set and guilt determined on the probability of evidence. If found guilty, sanctions are implemented. Students can be represented by a fellow student or an SRC member. Students may appeal a guilty verdict, but the appeal is final. Sanctions can vary from failing the module and having to re-register to a suspension from 6 months to 5 years. Sanctions also appear on your academic record and will follow you throughout your career, as any time you apply for a job, your academic record will show that you acted without integrity. Serious and repeated cases will have more serious sanctions, such as cancellation of all credits that you have already accumulated. If your degree is registered with a professional council, they may not allow registration with that body, meaning that you will not be able to practice for the degree that you studied. Acting ethically is a choice you make, but there are things you can do. Practice skills such as referencing and paraphrasing. Plan your time. Most students found guilty of academic infractions indicate that a lack of time made them desperate. Ask for help from reliable sources, such as your lecturers or UNISA tutors. And be careful of people on Telegram offering assistance and help. They are out to make money at the expense of your degree. Mostly, do something you love. Lastly, I know it can be hard, but courageousness is a huge part of academic integrity. Students that act dishonestly put all your hard work, along with the work and qualifications of all past and future students, at risk. As more and more of you choose the values of academic integrity, your qualifications are protected and you become a key player in securing your future work prospects. If you would like to report any instances of academic dishonesty, you can report it to your lecturer or to the whistleblower hotline with the details that's on the screen. Thank you and good luck with your exams.
Hey, thank you, David and Ingrid, for the presentation of why academic integrity is so important, and also what to do if you suspect anybody of academic misconduct. So now we're going to have a look at just the proctoring tools that will be used. So in your case, it will be Iris. I see there's quite a lot of questions in the chat already about the proctoring tool. So hopefully Lazarus will be able to address all of your questions when he goes through how to set up the tool and how the tool works. Thank you, Precious, as well. The other students I see also answering questions from, I think you perhaps joined the session on Saturday as well. So thanks for helping out the other students. So I just want to remind you first, remember on my UNISA, my modules, you do need to upload your profile photo. So this is a standard for all the examinations. So you just log into my modules. You click at the top right on your username, click on profile. You then select edit profile. And then you just scroll down to the user pictures section. And then from there, you can upload your picture. Just note, landscape pictures usually works the best, or pictures that's quite a square. If it's a portrait, it might be rotated 90 degrees. So just remember to crop it then into a square before you upload the picture. And also remember the picture needs to be of your face where you're clearly visible, because these pictures are used to verify your identity along with other proctoring tools. If you have not done so, we will share a link that shows you exactly step by step how to set it up, and we will share the link in the chat. So let's have a look at the proctoring tools. So you might be familiar with other proctoring tools that was also used at UNISA, but remember you will only be using Iris invigilation. And Iris invigilation runs on your computer. It does not run on a mobile device. So just a quick guide to Iris that you just need to remember. It only runs on a laptop or desktop computer. It's a Google Chrome browser extension. It also works on Microsoft Edge, but it's an extension that you add to the browser. And then remember the device that you will be using, say a laptop, it's usually already built in with a microphone and webcam. But if you have a desktop, you will need to make sure that it's got a webcam and a microphone. Now, so there was also a lot of questions. How do we know it's working? How do you set it up? There is a Iris exam preparation. I will share the link in the chat now as well. So please visit this site as soon as possible. Set up Iris, make the test assessments, make sure everything is working so that you can then after that just focus on getting ready for your examinations. But for this section, I will now hand over to Lazarus just for introduction to Iris, how to set it up, and also how to test to make sure everything is working. Thank you, Lazarus.
Hi, Richard. Sorry, can you confirm you can see my screen in the presentation?
Yes, Lazarus, you're good to go.
Okay, good morning, students. So I'm going to take you through the IRIS setup instructions. Just for interest, CSET, the College of Science, Engineering and Technology, has been using IRIS for the last 3 years or so, and for all our examinations. And so most CSET students have become used to using IRIS and have gotten through the initial difficulties surrounding laptops and things like that. And we trust that you will also, be able to get through those difficulties. We understand that with the laptop requirements, it is an issue, but yeah, like it was mentioned earlier, in order to ensure academic integrity, we have to go through this process. What is IRIS? IRIS is an invigilation system that helps UNISA staff with assessment integrity. It uses IRIS records audio, video, and computer screen activity during the entire duration of your examination. You have to be online during your examination, so you need a stable internet connection. It uses machine learning to flag potential academic dishonesty. So it might flag excessive movements, not small movement, but excessive movements. Continuously maybe looking to your right and looking down. I understand that your assessments are open book, so we will take that into consideration. It's just important to note that even though IRIS uses machine learning to flag dishonesty, it is a person that ultimately decides whether you were cheating or not. So we don't rely on what IRIS tells us or on what the system tells us. We look at the recordings, and we actually almost look at almost all recordings. So you might, because some students actually try to cheat the system and maybe still cheat, but try to limit their movements, so we can even pick that up. So we look at the exams department looks at all recordings after the examinations. IRIS also has a GPS location system built in, so we can determine where the students were sitting in close proximity. Yeah, and if we can see that you were actually sitting in close proximity, we can, through the videos, determine whether you were talking to other people or other students. So how does IRIS work? As I mentioned, IRIS records screen activity. It records you, a video of you, the entire duration of your examination, and it records all audio during the entire duration of the examination. What is the necessary equipment? You need a stable internet connection. You need a laptop or a desktop. IRIS will not work on a tablet or phone. The laptop or desktop needs to have a built-in microphone or an external microphone, but you're not allowed to use headsets. You need a web camera, so a built-in web camera or an external web camera. We recommend that the minimum specifications is 4 GB RAM and Windows 7 64-bit. Most computers will have these minimum specifications. Most newer computers, I think if your computer is more than, let's say, 7, 8 years old, then you probably might have to check your RAM and check whether it actually has Windows 7 64-bit on it. So Iris is a browser plugin. It is a plugin that can be used on Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. You can only use either of those two browsers to write your examination. You can't use something like Mozilla Firefox or even Safari, unfortunately. So if you're a MacBook user, you'll need to download Google Chrome onto your MacBook. It will work on your MacBook, but you'll need to use Google Chrome. You need to have the latest version of your browser installed. Iris could potentially give you errors if you don't have the latest version of Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge installed on your computer. So before you write an Iris invigilated examination, you need to install the plugin on your browser. Way to do that is to go to on Chrome, you will go to the Chrome Web Store. On Microsoft Edge, you do something similar where you'll go to the Microsoft Edge Store. You will, on the Chrome Web Store, you will search for Iris. You'll type Iris in the search bar. Then the Iris extension will be the first one that pops up. This is the Iris icon. You'll click on the extension. You will then click on Add to Chrome. You will then click on Add Extension. Once you've clicked on Add Extension, the Iris environment is installed in your browser. You're now ready to write an Iris invigilated examination. So on the day of your examination, you will go to Google, you will open Chrome, you will log onto the examination site. Iris is activated when you access your assessment on the portal. You will follow the Iris instructions carefully, and then you will start your test. I'm going to take you now through the Iris instructions. So on the first time that you're using Iris, so the first examination or the first test you write with Iris, it's going to ask you to allow use of your camera and allow use of your microphone. In both instances, you have to click on allow. Okay, and then this is the pop-up that will come on your screen. You'll need to agree to the terms and conditions. You do not have to agree to consent for use of data for research. You will then click on continue. Then this lady here will start giving you instructions. The first time that you use Iris, you have to let her talk you through the entire process. You cannot pause her. If you pause her or if you stop her, this button will not be activated and you won't be able to continue. On any subsequent use of Iris, I'm just sorry for the background noise. Any subsequent use of Iris, you can then pause her because she does talk quite a few minutes. Typical lady. Sorry, just joking. Anyway, so yeah, after she's given you the instructions, you can choose your microphone. You can put in your full name here. So you have to put in, if you put in one name, it won't work. You have to put in minimum 2 names. You have to put in your student ID number here. You do not put in your South African ID number. Do not put in any. Please make sure that your ID number is typed in. Your student ID number is typed in correctly. If your student ID number is not correct, Iris will still continue working, but we won't be able to pick you up as having used Iris, and you will not get your results. So it's important that you put in your student number correctly. After you've typed in your student number, you will be able to click on next. You'll click on next, and then you will have to capture your student ID card. You can use your student ID card or a driver's license or a South African ID. If you don't have a student ID card, you need to hold the ID as close as possible to the camera so the entire ID is visible. The ID is used for authentication purposes, so the Iris will automatically authenticate you against the picture on your ID, but also if it is unable to do that because maybe your photo is old, don't worry about that. We would do that manually if Iris does not do it automatically. Okay, then Iris will give you further instructions, ask you to position your face in the correct location. This is not something that's vitally important, but it might ask you to do that. So the face, you can check that the face detection technology works. Just one on the current Iris version, there's another screen that pops up on the screen. It gives you instructions on what to do next. You need to click on OK, but I will show you that later on. You need to click on OK, and then you'll be able to see the screen fully. Once you position yourself, you'll click on Start Invigilation, and then, okay, so that's the Start Invigilation process. Then you will see this screen where you need to share your screen, or you need to give Iris permission to share your screen. But you do that by first clicking on this little copy of your entire screen. Sorry. But first clicking on this little copy of your entire screen. Once you click on that, you'll see that this picture gets highlighted. This button, which is initially grayed out, will turn purple. You'll be able to click on it, and then Iris will start recording you. Let me go back here. When Iris starts recording you, you'll be asked to minimize Iris. You can minimize Iris, download your script, write your exam, upload. When you upload and your time is up, Iris will automatically pop up. So it will maximize itself. If it is not maximized already, it will maximize itself. It will say your examinations is finished. It will start uploading some files, and then it will close by itself. It's important to note that if you do finish earlier than the time allocated, you can close Iris yourself. You do that by maximizing the Iris icon yourself by clicking on it at the bottom of your taskbar. You click on it, you maximize it, you click on finish recording, and then the same window will pop up, and Iris will upload some files and it will close. All students writing the CTA supplementary examinations are linked to a practice site on my modules, and there is also troubleshooting documentation on their site. We will load a video straight after this meeting. We'll load a video onto that site as well, taking you through the entire Iris process. Yeah, and that's it. Good luck with your examinations. I will be back later to give you a demonstration on Iris. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you, Lazarus. So just quickly, let me just start with this one. So I'm just going to share that link again on the screen. So we did share it in the chat as well. So please make sure you've got this link and that you can access the Iris exam preparation site. So just to quickly show you, the site will look like this. So remember, as I mentioned earlier, just make sure of this drop down arrow at the bottom for additional resources. This will also be applicable when you access your papers. So always make sure just that you view everything that's on the site by clicking on this icon at the bottom. So on the site, there is a practice exam, and there's also instructions on how to set up Iris. Lazarus, we do have quite a few questions.
Richard.
Yes.
Richard, it's Pindy speaking. I'm just wondering, because I see there's a lot of questions relating where to find the site, and we might be assuming knowledge as to how to access the site. So maybe if we can go 2 steps backwards to get into my modules and then show the students how to access the Iris practice site, that will be appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Marlo. So just to get started, so remember, the first page that you will go to is My UNISA. So this will be generally we always log in. You will log in with your student number and My UNISA password. You will click on My Modules, the icon for button for My Modules. This will open up your My Modules dashboard. So the site is still a bit slow today, so just give it some time to load. So once you're on the My Modules dashboard, you can click on the My Modules drop-down button, and you should see CTA Iris Practice Site. So you can either click on the link that we shared in the chat, or you can just click on the My Modules drop-down and then select CTA Iris Practice Site. And then on this site, you will get the instructions to how to set up Iris, and then also to do a practice run with Iris on a assignments tool. So remember, for the day, you will download your paper. Once you start downloading your paper, Iris invigilation will start automatically. Once you're done and you scanned in your documents, you're going to submit it on My Admin, and then you can stop the Iris invigilation. Lazarus, I saw a few questions regarding the amount of data that will be used by Iris for the 3-hour duration. Do you perhaps have any data on that?
Yes, it is. It is on average 180 megabytes. So on average 180 megabytes, it might be more if you take more time. For a 3-hour examination, it's on average 180 megabytes. So it will probably be not more than, say, 250 megabytes. Let's put it, yeah.
Okay. And then I also saw a few questions regarding using, going for the bathroom. Maybe you need to go and print your scripts or go scan it in. So remember, if you go to the bathroom, just speak into the camera saying that you are going to the bathroom. When you're back, you just scan again your environment just to show you didn't bring in any additional resources or books. And the same is if you need to go, for instance, switch on a generator, or if you need to quickly go do prints as well. So just make sure that you speak into the camera. And just also a reminder that if you get flagged by Iris, it's not that you go through immediately as being cheated. Being flagged is still a person that's going to go through to make sure that the academic dishonesty took place. So getting flagged is not an automatic process. There is still people on the background that will go through all the resources from the proctoring tool to first make sure if any academic dishonesty did take place. Okay, so Lazarus, I think we can answer some of the other questions as well during this session. We will have David later that will also just summarize for us the main questions. Lazarus, are you ready for a demo? Lazarus? There you go.
Sorry, Richard. Yes, I am. Was on mute. I'm sharing my. I assume you can see my screen. I am on the CTA Iris practice site. So when you go to this site, so I think we've determined, or we know how to install Iris. I'm not going to go through the process of actually installing Iris again. You would, again, the instructions are straightforward. You would go to the Chrome Web Store, search for Iris, and then click on the Iris plugin, and then click on Allow Extension. And then the Iris will be installed on your laptop or desktop. When you write an exam, you will click on the folder that contains your examination, and then as soon as you do that, this is the Iris pop-up. And so the Iris will pop up, and then you will, as soon as you can click on agree to terms and conditions, and then click on continue. When you click on continue, you will see that the Iris lady will start giving you instructions. So I'll stop talking and I'll start when she's done.
Hi there. Remember me? I'm Iris, the Intelligent Remote Invigilation System. You can skip this intro if you've used the system before. At any time, if you would like more detailed setup instructions from me, click on the Activate Assistant button. Make sure that I have access to your webcam and microphone and that they are shown as the selected option over here. Ensure the lighting is adequate and position yourself so that your head and shoulders are visible and take up most of the window as shown below. Compare your image to the example here. Enter your name and student ID and click the Next button to continue with your setup.
Okay, so as she mentioned, I need to choose my camera and choose my microphone, put in my name, and student number 9, and then as soon as I've done that, the button turns purple.
To confirm your identity, hold your student ID card in front of the camera. It should be close to the camera so that it fills the whole image. Click the Capture ID card button to take a snapshot of your card. When you're done, click Next.
Okay, so that's how you do your capturing your ID. We'll then click
Next, we need to be able to capture what is showing on your screen. It is important that you only use one computer screen. Generally, this will be the screen that has your webcam and is also displaying your assessment, so that you are always looking straight on. Completely disconnect any additional screens. Once you've shared your screen, return to your assessment while I will enter the password for you. Click the Start Invigilation button to begin your assessment.
Okay, so just a note, you probably would have noticed me clicking on OK. That screen that popped up is the instructions on what you need to do next, written instructions on what you do next. So I just clicked on OK there, and now I'll click on Start Invigilation. Now I need to share my screen. This is very important. This button is initially grayed out. It will turn purple if I click on this. This is a copy of my screen. I can now click on Share. This is what pops up at the bottom of your screen. Iris is sharing your screen. If you see this, you know that Iris is working, and it starts counting up and counting down. You can then minimize Iris and then download your paper. Okay, so it's taking a bit. So it's downloaded. I can open it. I can complete it. Now, two important things. If you have finished early, you can upload. Well, when you finish, you can upload your exam paper. So you can go back to your site, and then you can upload on, or you can go to My Admin and upload where you're supposed to upload. As a CTA student on My Admin, you can then, if your time is up, your upload time is up, Iris will pop up automatically and will start uploading some files. If it doesn't pop up, you need to, or if you finished early, you need to maximize Iris and then click on Finish Recording. You will get this screen. You need to drag this icon all the way to the side, and then you need to click on Yes.
Well done. You have finished your assessment. Remember that you need to wait until your session has completely uploaded. If the process is interrupted for some reason, you need to restart the upload. When it's done, this window will close automatically. See you next time.
Yep, and that's it. You're done with your IELTS invigilated examination. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you, Lazarus. So, Lazarus, please go make sure that you've got access to the preparation site and that you have also tested it out to make sure everything is working. Remember, the sooner you test everything out and everything is working, the more you can focus on just preparing for the actual exam papers. So I just quickly want to just highlight, so remember, for Iris, it only runs on a desktop and laptop device. If you're going to be using a smartphone to scan in, there is an app, such as OneDrive, that you can use to scan in your documents. So just remember, if you are using, especially a desktop, you need to get a webcam that's got a microphone as well, so that you can take the videos for Iris. But else, if you're using your laptop, it should already have a microphone and camera built into it. Just make sure that it is working. And what also sometimes happens with, especially laptops, is if it's got a privacy switch on it, just remember that the camera must be open to be able to see you. So just also just to highlight, remember for support, the official numbers are on the screen. It's also available on My UNISA under Inquire tab. So please make sure you've got these numbers ready at hand for the examination so that if you run into any problems that you can phone them as quickly as possible. When contacting the support contact center, also make sure that you select the correct option. They've got a special options for examinations, and you will need to select that option for the best results to get the assistance as quick as possible. And also lastly, I will put the link in the chat as well. The recording will be made available on the My Exams guides. There will be a tile called Webinar Recordings. Let me quickly just highlight this for you. So just have a look out for this style, webinar recordings. The session from Saturday is already uploaded, and we will upload the session as well. So if you just want to perhaps go through Lazarus' session again, you know, the procedure, how does it work, what do you need to do, the recording will be made available so you can quickly access it and just review all the information. So just for the last section, I'm just going to hand over to David, just for a quick question and answers that came up in the chat, and any questions that you still need any assistance with. Thank you, David.
All right, thanks, Richard, and thank you, students, for joining us today. All right, I have been noting your questions, and I've been reading the chat a lot, so I do see a lot of questions, and I know you guys are saying please answer those questions. So yes, I am writing them down as we go along. Okay, the first question that came out quite a lot, especially in the beginning, was with regards to, can I print my exam paper? So yes, colleagues, anyone on the floor who would like to answer that one?
Yes, I can. And I think it ties in with something that I missed just now. So you can, yes, you can print your exam paper. What you need to do just after you've printed your exam paper and you've put it on your desk and your other material on your desk, you actually need to hold your camera in a position where it can see what's in your desk. So you can just lift your laptop up 90 degrees. I'm actually, for some reason, doing it myself now. But anyway, you can lift up your 90-degree laptop 90 degrees, and it will then be able to pick up what's on your desk. So as long as we can see that it's only the printed paper and the material you need to use to write your examination. If that's the only material on your desk, as long as we can see that, then it's fine. Then you can put your laptop down and continue writing your examination. You are allowed to go to the toilet. If you go to the toilet and come back, you have to do the same thing again. You have to lift up your laptop so that, or your desktop camera, you have to move it and put it vertically to the horizontally towards your table, and then so that we can see what's on your table. So yes, you can print your paper, but before you start your in fact, all students, before you start your examination, just so that we can see that the material that's on your table is the material that you're supposed to use. After Iris starts recording and it starts counting down, please lift up for about 5 to 10 seconds, lift up your laptop or your camera so that we can see what's on your table. I hope that answers the question, David.
All right, thank you, Lazarus. Hopefully the students made notes of that. Yes, I see there is a little bit of a follow-up question to that, saying from a student, there's no name, unfortunately, it just says guest. But what if we are printing? Is this time counted for?
Yes, students have, I'm not sure, Pandiwa can maybe can correct me on this, but I think it's a minimum of 15 minutes. It could be 30 minutes, but it's a minimum of 15 minutes for both going through your paper, for printing, and for starting Iris. So you have time. Yes, you do have time.
Okay, fabulous. All right, the next question that came up was, please repeat the steps on how to set up the profile picture. Okay, Richard did share the link and we'll share it again in the chat where we've got the My Modules site where it'll actually show you the steps that you need to follow in order to upload your profile picture. So just take note of that. We're going to post it in the chat. So, yep, so don't worry, we will post it. Data. There were quite a number of questions around data. And I did see Dominique did respond to the students, just in case the other students didn't see. It is 60 minutes. If your exam paper, for example, is 60 minutes, then it would use 60 megabytes. So if it's a 3-hour paper, then it should be 180 megabytes, according to what I've seen in the chat from the colleague who did respond. So for the other students, just take note of the data size. The recording location as well. I see, there we go. Thank you, Richard. He has posted the link. Guys, the recording is there. So please go to this course site and make sure you do the practice exam, because I think that will answer most of your questions with regards to how's it all going to work compared to maybe some of the other apps that you've used previously, so that you are then able to negotiate with the system to find out where you are and how it works, and be able to do your exam. Okay, the next one that comes up, a timer or alarm clock. I do not think that will be a problem if you use your phone as an alarm clock during your exam, because it's not something that is human voice. And I know the software tends to look at human voices, not sounds like that. So it won't necessarily be flagged. And even if it is flagged, the likelihood is they can use an alarm clock reminding you that maybe your time's running out. So it's not a problem. There is a timer with Iris, but it's not going to pop up and remind you that, hey, you're running out of time. So just take note of that. I do see quite a few students asking about, are they receiving data for this exam period? Any colleagues on the floor who might want to tackle that question?
I'm here, Richard.
Go for it.
I actually have a few other items, so I'm not sure if I should go on that one or the other few items. But we are organizing that students do receive their data. They would have received data in January, February as the original supplementary during 2 months, but we do identify that we'll need to extend the provision for the month of March. So students should be receiving their data. However, if students can please, I heard Lazarus saying it's around 180 megs. So we don't have a lot of students writing all 5 papers. So if you can organize that 180 megs, should there be a delay, given that this is an exception out of the norm? Thank you. And then I'll come in with the other points later then, David. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. I see questions are flying in now, but I do see the colleagues are responding. So students, please do post your questions so that we can definitely get to them and answer them, even if it's after the session. So just to bring you an answer to your question. All right, then I'm seeing a lot of questions with regards to the upload and download time. Again, colleagues, maybe Doc S, normally with the exams, what is the upload and download time that's available for students?
Hi, David. Good morning, colleagues. What I know, they are given 15 minutes, but with the CTA, I'm not so sure, because they used to give different instructions as the rest of other examinations. So I believe maybe we can find that out, but usually it's 15 minutes before the start time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any of the other colleagues, is that still correct with these exams?
Richard, it's still correct in the sense that it's minimum 15 minutes. They could possibly have more time, but there's not less than 15 minutes. The other thing is that you still only have the half an hour after the exams to upload your examination.
All right, thanks, colleagues, much appreciated. All right, now we're going to get to that question. I think almost every student has already asked, and some of them are even putting it in capital letters. Just please remember, guys, we are trying to help you. So putting in capital letters pretty much means you're shouting at us. Unfortunately, we are not responsible for load shedding, but we're trying our best to accommodate students as much as we possibly can. We all understand what's happening with the country at this minute. And I'm going to hand over to Pindiwe just to go through UNISA's stance on load shedding and what possible options you could try. Over to you, Pindiwe.
Very hard question. Maybe let me start off here. The institution has utilized the IRIS proctoring tool for mostly the CSET modules, but we understand that some of the CSET modules also service other colleges. So we have utilized this tool since October, November 2020. We have 9 examination periods where students have managed to utilize the tool under the environment that we are finding ourselves in. As a country, we accept that we have been largely inconvenienced by the load shedding, and it has affected all industry, and the higher education industry is not exempted from that inconvenience. What we are saying, and we have done comparative analysis as to what other universities are saying, and we're not far off, is that we require our students, because of our own geographical dispersion of our students. And I saw a comment saying, I'm in Limpopo, you're expecting me to come to Pretoria. And that is exactly what the challenge is. It's a near impossibility for UNISA to accommodate load shedding into its processes because our students are geographically dispersed nationally and internationally. So hence we then ask, because you as a student know your load shedding schedule, then plan in accordance to that load shedding schedule, right? Secondly, so in the first session we had on Saturday with some students, there was questions about, can we then go to the regions? Just know the regions also provide other services to other students, so there won't be a particular seat reserved for a CTA students to come and write, but you can go. But if you are going to the regions, also test your connectivity at the region during their load shedding, because we will then not be accepting any responsibility as to where students have decided to position themselves to take on the examination. So pre-charge, test your connectivity. As we have always stated, within our online systems, students have to ensure that they are able to take on their assessments within their load shedding period. It's not a good stance to have, but it's a manageable stance that we can do, and we have seen it working for 9 examination periods within the CSET school and some of the students that are taking on the other modules. The other aspect I wanted to speak to, it seems that students are not reading announcements and communications that we've sent. As we have sent the reminder SMSs of this training session, we also sent through the SMS informing students around the change and what would then be the examination rules surrounding this change of exam. So please go and read those 2 communications that have been posted on your module site, because what's going to happen is that you are going to be very frustrated in that 15 minutes. And I say this as a chartered accountant for 13 years. I've marked ITC for 4 years. The issues that you need to hone on is your preparation and ensuring that you're not going to experience anxiety on the day due to lack of preparation. So do read the 2 communications that have been sent to you in the module site, and do take on that practice examination. I think I've forgot what this one is now, but I think I cannot emphasize and stress enough that you need to go and take on that that practice exam so that you can at least install Iris. But should you experience any technical challenges on the day, you can phone the 2 numbers that we have. There will be a dedicated team just to resolve your challenges on the day. And then secondly, you can post under the discussion forum in the CTA practice site. We will also be attending to those on the day. So I would appreciate maybe if the CTA school director or CTA deputy dean, if they are in, if they can just give a few words as to the reasons for the change before we close off, because I still find that students are uncertain around why the institution did make this decision. But from an institutional perspective, we did announce in 2020 that we will be going online for our assessments. We did try to do some feasibility studies, feasibility of taking students back to venues, and that seemed to be contradicting our own strategies, and hence it was not done. Thank you very much, David. I'll continue responding to the answers, the questions in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for the detail in your response. I'm very much appreciated. Hopefully the students are also making note of those communications that they need to check out. And I think most likely they would also be on the MyUnisa site as well. Normally the announcements are there and on My Life. So please do check them out as well. There was a question with regards to where do I upload my answer? So once you've done and I want to upload, you're not going to upload it to Iris at all. Okay, Iris is only there to sort of monitor you. So maybe Richard, if you can, maybe we can just pop in and show the students where they're going to upload, because I see there was quite a number of questions around that.
Yeah, thank you, David. Let me just quickly show you again. So remember, once you're done writing, you will go to My Admin to upload your script. So this is now after you've written it out, you've scanned it in as a PDF, you go to My Admin, and then you go to, let me just quickly open here a window where it will show the true. So you will log in with your student number and password. You'll select My Admin, Assessment Admin, and Assignment Submission. So remember, you're not going to submit on My Modules. You're going to submit on My Admin under Assignment Submissions. And it will just ask again for your student number and your MyUnisa password. And then here will be an upload button for you to upload your script. So just please remember those steps. You go first onto My Modules to download the papers. You start, then the Iris invigilation will start. During your period, you will write out your exam script on Notepad. Once you're done, you will scan into a PDF document, and then you will come to My Admin, Assessment Admin, to upload your final script. David, is there any other questions that you perhaps still want to address?
Just one quick one. I know it was mentioned, maybe the student joined a bit late. They want to know if they need to move away from their laptop to go to the toilet or to pick up their printout. They must just please talk to your laptop. Because remember, it records your voice. So if you do need to do something, you just say, I'm going quickly to get my printout, or I quickly need to go to the toilet. That's fine. So that the Iris will record, and then, of course, if it is flagged, then, of course, that will be easy enough for the auditors just to view that. But I do see Doc Sheila's hand is up, so we might want to jump over to her. But on my side, I'm done. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Richard. Colleagues, I would like us to emphasize that issue of timing, because I want it to be cleared to say what tools will they be allowed for them to do their own timing. Isn't it? I believe CTA students, they were used to Invigilator app, which will remind them that their time is up. And now that you mentioned earlier that they can use their own device, which will alert them like an alarm. So majority, we know they are using phones as their alarms. Is the phone going to be allowed to be used? And if in that case it is, can we maybe clarify how they are going to use that device, to say, should they set it up before they start or immediately and include it in the environment where they are writing? Or maybe if cell phone is not allowed, also let that be clarified. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. So just remember, you can use your phone to scan and upload. So I saw there is a question as well. So remember, if you scan with your phone, you can upload directly to my admin, your script from your mobile device. So you can use your phone, you set it on a timer, and then the timer can count down. So just remember to include your phone when you scan your environment, so that you can just show that the timer is running on your phone, that you're not busy with any other activities on your phone. So yes, you can definitely set a timer for yourself as well, and it's recommended that you do keep to the upload times. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining. So on the screen, I just added the contact information again. So please have these numbers saved as well. So if you run into any problems, you can contact the support center, and they will have a dedicated team to assist you as well on the day of the examinations. So from that, we will continue in the chat just to answer the questions. There's a lot of questions rolling in, and we will try and address as much of them as possible. So I just want to say good luck with your examinations. Please go test out the tools, make sure everything is up and running on the IRIS side, so you can just focus on your preparation. Remember, read the guidelines thoroughly that's being sent out for the examinations. So I saw a few about the open book. Remember, it's only your CTA notebooks that you can use, and you need to, when you scan your desk, just show that the books that you are using. So with all that, all the best with the examinations, and we will have another session on Friday. So if you have any further questions on Friday evening at 6 o'clock, we will run another session, but we will also make this recording available on the My Exams guides under webinar recordings, and we will share the link again now. So thank you everybody, and thanks for the team that was here to assist today. We will see you then all on Friday. Thank you. Bye.